Hello, third graders. Today we are going to be doing our final lesson in our area and perimeter unit. So let's go back and think about all the things you've learned. You learned to find the area of a rectangle. You learned how to find the perimeter of not just rectangles, but of all different kinds of shapes by adding up all the side lengths. And then the last couple lessons have been focused on solving story problems using area and perimeter. So today we're going to just beef up the complexity and the challenge just a little bit. And what you're going to do are two things. Determine whether a story problem is an area or a perimeter story problem, and then use area or perimeter to solve the story problem. So today, instead of me telling you find the area or find the perimeter, you have to decide if I'm asking you for the area or the perimeter, and then you have to solve it. So let's review. How do we know if it's area or perimeter? Let's start with area. You want to think to yourself, is the question asking me to determine the total amount of space covered? Because we know area means total amount of space. Is it asking how much material might be needed to cover a space? Notice I said that word cover two times. Are there key words in the question such as area, surface, cover, surface area, square units, inside, or surface space? Anything that refers to the amount of space covered by something is going to be area. So if the answer is yes, then this is an area problem. So you need to multiply the length times the width of the rectangle to determine the area. So to sum up, if it is an area story, you're going to multiply the length times the width to find the answer. But what if it's a perimeter story? Well, for perimeter, you want to think things like, does the question ask me to determine the distance around an object? Does it focus on the outside edges, the sides, or the border? Are there key words in the story or in the question, such as around, fencing, frame, trim, border, outside, edge, or distance around? Those are phrases and words that all refer to perimeter, the perimeter of something. So if the answer is yes, then it's a perimeter problem. So to solve it, you need to add all of the side lengths together to determine the perimeter. So let's practice a couple of stories. This story says Lauren is painting a border around a mural. The mural is 9 feet long and 5 feet wide. How many feet of border will Lauren paint? Well, I see some key words in this story that I think are going to help me figure out if this is area or perimeter. First of all, this word border. The word border refers to the edge of something or the rim of something. Also, this word around. If something is going around something, it's the outside edge. And then the question is how many feet of border? Remember that if it's an area problem, it would be square feet, not just feet. So I can tell that this story is a perimeter story. So I'm going to go ahead and where it says problem type, I'm going to type perimeter. And then I'm going to go ahead and think about the words that told me it was a perimeter story. Border, around, feet. Those words all kind of help me realize that this was a perimeter story. So how am I going to figure it out? Well, on scratch paper, I would draw a picture of a rectangle, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw one for you. I would probably draw something like this. And then I would say, okay, 9 feet long, so it's 9 feet long, 5 feet wide, so it's 5 feet wide. Because for me, and for most students, actually, drawing a picture will help you visualize it. Okay, so now that I have my picture, my equation is going to be 9 plus 9, because I know both of those sides are 9, plus 5 plus 5. And that's going to help me figure out the perimeter. So I know that 9 plus 9 is 18, and I know that 5 plus 5 is 10. So I'm going to add 18 plus 10. That would be 28. So the answer is 28, but not just 28. I need to have my units, 28 feet. See, it says feet in the question, so I know it's 28 feet. Okay, That's an example of how you're going to solve these problems today in your practice. Let's try another one. Okay, here's another practice story. It says, Bill is covering his backyard patio with square stones. His patio is 7 feet long and 6 feet wide. How many square feet will he need to cover? Well, I'm going to go back. This time I'll use green to make it a little different. Let's find some keywords in here. Oop, covering. So I know he's covering something. Square. Hmm. Ooh, the question is how many square feet, and I'm finding out how many square feet he needs to cover on his patio. Okay, so if we're trying to figure out how many square feet are going to be covered, what kind of story is that? That's going to be an area story. You're exactly right. Whenever it's asking you for square feet or square inches or square miles, square anything is referring to area. So I know it's an area. What were the key words that told me? Cover, square feet. Oop, not square eat, square feet. Those told me it was an area story. So how do I solve an area story? I multiply the length times the width. So let's see, it's 7 feet long. So I'm going to do 7 times 6 feet wide, and that's going to give me my area. So what is 7 times 6? Think back to your facts. 7 times 6 is 42. So I know it's going to be 42. And then what units will I use? Let's look back at the question. How many square feet will he need to cover? Well, he's going to need 42 square feet. Okay, I think there might be one more practice. Yes, one more. Okay, here we go. This one says, I am placing a small fence around my vegetable garden. My garden is 6 feet long and 4 feet wide. How many feet of fencing will I need? Do you know what kind of story this is already? Let's highlight our keywords. The fence is going around the vegetable garden. It's asking me how many feet of fencing will I need? And even just this word, fencing, what do we use fences for? We use fences to go around something, right? We don't fill spaces with fences. We use them to go around something. So I know that this is going to be a perimeter story. So I'm going to go ahead and type that there. You guys, of course, would write it or type it depending on how you're doing it. So I'm going to write it's perimeter. And my keywords were around, feet, and fencing. Okay, do you remember on the last perimeter story, what I did next? I drew a picture. I don't know why for perimeter it's so much better for me to draw a picture. So I'm going to draw my rectangle. Let's see, it's 6 feet long and it's 4 feet wide. And so that means that this is also 6 and this is also 4. So what equation will I use? Well, I'm going to add 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4, and that's going to give me my perimeter. So I know 6 plus 6 is 12, and I know 4 plus 4 is 8. So 12 plus 8, what'd you get? 20? Good job. And this time I'm going to answer in a complete sentence. The question was, how many feet of fencing will I need? I will need 20 feet of fencing. Okay? The most important thing in your answer, ideally, you could answer in a complete sentence. If you choose not to, I just want you to make sure you label it. Don't just write 20 or 42. You need to tell me 20 what, 42 what. It's really important to label your answers. Okay, so let's look at what your work is going to be today. This is a picture of the first page of your assignment. It might be in Google Classroom. It is also page 13 in your packet. And so this is a model, this is an example to show you what you're going to do. I did highlight on it. There are 6 problems total to make sure to complete them all. Sometimes the problems loop onto the next page, and so kids forget to do them. Make sure you do all 6 problems, okay? So here's an example of the problem that's on your paper that is done for you. Mrs. Moore is drawing a rectangular chalk border around the edge of her chalk drawing on the sidewalk. If her border is 3 feet long and 4 feet wide, what is the total length of her border? Well, we know that's a perimeter story because look at these keywords: border, edge, total length. So when we're talking about the border and the edge, that's a perimeter story. So the equation would be 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4, and this is supposed to be an equal sign, not a plus sign. So 3 plus 4 is 7, 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 7 would be 14. Now, could you have done 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4? Definitely. You can add them in any order, whatever is easier for you. So the total length of Mrs. Moore's chalk border is 14 feet. So that's the one that's done for you on the page. Now, the next story is not done for you, but let's do it together. I'm not going to write on it, but I will talk you through it. So if you want to open in your packet to find page 2, we'll do this one together. It says, Dustin is helping his dad build a sandbox for his little sister. If the sandbox is 8 feet long and 7 feet wide, how much space will be covered with sand? What kind of story do you think that is? It's an area story. And what are our hints? Well, look at the question. How much space will be covered with sand? When we're talking about space being covered, we're always talking about area. So the key words I would say is space and covered. So what equation will I use? To find area, we multiply length times width. Well, if it's 8 feet long and 7 feet wide, I would do 8 times 7. 8 times 7 will give me the area. So my answer, well, 8 times 7 is 56. So I would say the sandbox will cover 56 square feet. Area always has square units. So again, I would say the sandbox will cover 56 square feet. All right, class. Thank you for listening. I want you to complete your assignment, submit it to your teacher, and good luck. See you next time.